The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Welcome to the 93rd episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with the proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Someones, and I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my partner in crime, my buddy, my man, Floyd Johnson Jr. Floyd, how you doing, my man?
I am doing well. It's been, I'm having my first couple days off since in like 20 days. I had worked 20 straight days, and now I got my first couple days off. So that's good. And then I grilled today because I got a grill from Christmas, as you probably already know. I think I've mentioned it on here a couple times. And yeah, I grilled for my third time today, and it was exactly how I wanted to. Got the heat right. Fire started. It was good stuff. And then, yeah, really excited. And tomorrow, even though this is AEW podcast, fan cast, whatever, we got the Royal Rumble, and this is my favorite event outside of WrestleMania on the WWE calendar.
Absolutely. I mean, you got a lot of things to look forward to that. I mean, we got that Goldberg and Drew match, which should be interesting. You've got a lot of options, I feel like, with the men's Royal Rumble. I know the women's Royal Rumble, in my personal opinion, I really want to see them give it to Bianca Belair. I think if they took the struck while the iron was hot with her, I think that would be amazing. It's going to be super weird considering how, I mean, the Rumble is the show with the hottest crowd and with the craziest chants, the craziest pops, and it's going to be mostly piped in noise and such. So it's going to feel really weird, but I mean, it's the Rumble, so despite that, it's still going to be a lot of fun.
And I can say I was at the last live Rumble with fans. Also,
that was a crazy fucking Rumble, dude. That was such a good one.
That was exciting Rumble. It's funny. I was at the last Rumble with fans, and I was at the last WrestleMania with fans,
and the last AEW. Well, no, actually, you weren't at Revolution, were you?
I was at Revolution.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Apologies. I keep forgetting.
We got a picture of us.
Yeah.
Let me make it this easy for you. Every pay-per-view that they've had fans, I've been at. I haven't missed one.
All right. Well, there it goes. Sorry, I thought you missed a couple.
The only one I missed.
That's bad on me.
The only show I missed was Double or Nothing because, of course, I was not allowed to go.
Yes, but all right. Well, so you got to see the last AEW pay-per-view with fans, the last WrestleMania with fans, and the last WWE pay-per-view with fans. So, goddamn.
I'm a bit of a roll as far as going. I have to do less stuff now because I got to be a responsible adult, but I'm still going to do as much as I can. I'm hoping to be at Revolution this year, so I can say I've been to every Revolution.
That would be dope. But we got a lot to talk about specifically with AEW this week. We got a lot of stuff with Dynamite, and we're getting up towards Dynamite Beach Break, which is coming up very soon, which is really exciting. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show, though, I want to make sure that if you enjoy the show, be sure to download the show on Google or Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Spotify, you can also share the podcast around with your friends. Google or Apple Podcasts, you can do that as well. You can leave a rating and a review. Let us know what we're doing good. Let us know what we can improve on. If you're so inclined to, you can also leave a donation through our podcast provider, Red Circle. We'd be forever grateful if you did that. On social media, we are at AT Elite Pod. You can support us there. That's our main Twitter account. At Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. I am at SZoomer4 on Twitter, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And the big news of the week is a very Cody focused one, and I know it's something we've talked about before, and Floyd has definitely talked about before, being Cody being his guy, on NBA TV on like inside the NBA with on TNT for the AEW end of the year awards. Shaq announced that he wants to fight Cody.
Yeah, he said, "Let's do this in March." What that means is March. Revolution. It's gonna be. Yeah, we're going to talk about this more as we get through because, I have an idea what the match is going to be. I think they pretty much set it up on Dynamite what the match is going to be. But Shaq, I'm like on national TV on one of the highest rated late night shows. Inside the NBA does weird, crazy numbers. Ernie talks about All Elite Wrestling. Shaq talks about him and calling Cody like a bleach blonde bum and says, let's do it in March. So, like on national TV, one of the highest rated shows on cable, Shaq and Cody. This was all about this really wasn't about Cody. It was about the fact that AEW, Ernie had to talk about AEW on live TV. Come on.
To be fair, Inside the NBA has had Jericho on, and they did a bunch of stuff with AEW. But in terms of there was no AEW guys there, so it wasn't like anything like, oh, we have this guy from AEW that's showing up. They just straight up said, Shaq wants to fight one of the AEW wrestlers. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been wanting to wrestle for years. They teased Shaq versus Big Show at Orlando the year before, at the previous WrestleMania before, and then it didn't happen because apparently Shaq doesn't show up to work out enough. Well, what most people don't know is because of Inside the NBA, Shaq lives in Atlanta. You know what's also in Atlanta? The Nightmare Factory. So, yeah, Shaq doesn't even have to go out of his way. They don't have to meet in the flight. He's like, oh, I'm already here. And, TNT is probably like nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hey, you're helping the brand because AEW being important to TNT. So they probably said, hey, Shaq, nudge, nudge. You want to do it anyway. We're not asking you to do something you don't want to do. Go.
I will say, despite the fact that maybe necessarily, like we've talked before, it's not necessarily what Floyd or I would want the most out of a current Cody storyline. TNT is 100% shown how much they're getting behind AEW, and that is 100% a good thing.
And so I want to let everyone know I am trying. Dynamite to me this week was back. It felt like Dynamite to me. I was like, man, it was a good show. So it actually put me in a better mood. So I'm like, dude, I'm focusing on the positive that this is publicity for AEW and publicity for my boy Cody. So more people are going to know who Cody Rhodes is other than just being the son of Dusty Rhodes, even though there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, he's Cody. He's his own man. And now you got Shaq, who's going to draw more eyeballs to AEW. And then Jade Cargill, she has a big online following. I think this all rings, if they can go through, and whenever they do it, and they could have a basic match, nothing exciting or whatever, I think it'll ring nothing but positives for AEW.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens with it. And again, we're going to talk more about this feud getting into Dynamite itself. But before we do that, Floyd, you want to go down and let us know about what happened on BTE this week, and if any AEW related stuff happened with Impact Wrestling this week?
So the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks are in front of a green screen. They're just trying to make it around. The Good Brothers are really playing up that they're like brothers and stuff. So when they turn, it's going to be a lot bigger of a deal. They asked if Penta deserved to get beat up. Young Bucks asked if Penta deserved to be beat up by the Good Brothers, and he's like, man, this is old school biz cliz. We just handled our business, right? So they beat them up. The Young Bucks are 24 minutes late for an elite meeting at a building because they got lost in the view, but we never actually got to see what the meeting is. Back from the meeting, Brandon Cutler, this was hilarious. Brandon Cutler hit someone's van with his car. The person that he hit happened to be Christopher Daniels, the head of talent relations. So he literally hit what in essence would be his boss's car. So, and
he came out and right when he was about to come out too, like they were filming it, and he was like, "You coming out to leave a note?" He's like, "I was just about to do it," and he was just like, "Is it your car?" He's like, "No, it's a rental. It's not my car, but I mean, like I drive it."
Yes,
but like.
And they say, "Hey, maybe you could just wipe it off," and it looked like he did. It looked like
I was gonna say it seemed like they were able to at least just rub it out, but like, oh my god, like Gallows and Anderson were dying of laughter.
Yes, and they just laughing and then the Young Bucks in a group. It was a Young Bucks heavy show. The Young Bucks asked Private Party if they turned heel. Matt Hardy got up and said, jumped in the middle, interrupted and said, Private Party actually listened to him, so they are better than the Young Bucks. They are going to win the tag team battle royal, then beat the Young Bucks at Revolution, and be on the path of being the second greatest tag team in history after him and his brother. Chris Stat abducts JB and Jungle Boy, and then it went away. Speaking of Jungle Boy, just wanted to throw this out here. Somebody did a post and they asked if you had to buy stock in any wrestler in the rest of their career, who would it be? My pick was Jungle Boy. I just thought it was a very, very easy pick. He just seems like a can't miss prospect at this point. So let me ask you before I continue this: what wrestler would you buy stock in, sir?
Any of them work at GameStop recently? Topical. But if I was to actually say which one I would buy into, Jungle Boy is a good one, but to kind of mix it up a little bit, I would say Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix is a good one. My backup pick would have been MJF, just because.
Honestly, yeah. If we're going heel, I would go down a MJF path. I mean, like the dude's just nonstop in your face with his heel persona, and it's just he has no chill, and he's got 100% just like a willpower of just sticking around. That he will be around for a while, I can bet.
Someone making Kool-Aid, it's Alex, and he's been asked to recruit more people by 5, and we're in TDOs. So after that, you see Santana Ortiz and Dasha all going around, and everybody's drinking Kool-Aid. So they're all recruits to the Dark Order, whether they now know it or not. So then we're in the Dark Order's lair. Whatever, they were pissed about a shitty table. They think Paige said no because they forgot about the bouncy house and the mermaid, so everybody's blaming each other. Stu stands up and takes the blame. He says, it's because I didn't bring the chocolate horse. And, everybody's just sad. And Anna's like, I said I wasn't going to bring nothing, and I didn't bring nothing. So, promise delivered. All right, so they decided the only thing that can bring them all together is a slumber party. And then Colt Cabana, in his creepy uncle way, said, have all your moms call me. For permission. And he said, have all your moms call me. And I was just cracking up because it was like subtle, but you like, yeah, he's the creepy uncle. He wants to talk to all your moms. And so Stat and JB are doing the Mentos thing, but she has cans of Coke instead of a bottle of Coke. So, I mean, a little bubbles come out, but then they explode. And she was like, this experiment didn't work out well. And he's like, what? I didn't know what we were going to do. And you just kind of pulled me in the room. And then she kicked him out. She got frustrated and kicked him out. They did a number one contender shot for the BTE title, and then the job was to hang from a pull-up pole. And if any of you know how hard this is, yes,
God,
hanging from a pull-up pole without your feet touching the ground. Sammy Guevara went first, did like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I don't even think anybody else got to 2 minutes. Like Luchasaurus made it to like 50 seconds, which doesn't shock me because he is a huge human being. So that's a lot of
body weight on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So Fuego kind of disappointed me. Oklahoma's own Fuego del Sol. He disappointed me because he made it like dude's like 97 pounds. I thought he could make it, but Sammy Guevara went first, dominated. So next week in a contest they did not say will be the man, the myth, the legend, Sammy G versus John Silver, and for the best title in professional wrestling.
If there's anybody that could take the BTE title off of the seemingly unbeatable John Silver, my money would be on Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara reminds me of. I feel like he would be one of those dudes that I would be annoyed to be around because he'd be good at everything. He'd be like,
I've talked to him, like as somebody who has talked to him before. It's like he's genuinely like so charismatic, so chill to talk to. It's like if you're friends with him. You obviously you look cooler because you stand next to him, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you got to give me something that I can do.
Yes. So yeah, he's like super athletic, attractive, can talk on the mic. It's like, okay. And then like the whole hanging from the pull up thing, he dominated everybody. So it's like, kind of hate you. So hopefully John Silver pick something. John Silver's he's an athletic dude too. So maybe, but he didn't pick something that requires too much athleticism. That's the great thing about being champion. You got to compete on John Silver's turf. So let's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what it is, and can the most legitimate champion in professional wrestling hold on to his title? It's going to be a big show next week.
Damn straight.
And
now,
nothing
going towards Impact.
Nothing really happened.
Anything else?
I watched it for 2 hours. It was like they had this one interview where Private Party, whatever their little mini pay-per-view thing is, I forgot what it's called. They're going to wrestle the Good Brothers at that. And they said they got to win the titles. Matt Hardy said they got to win the titles. But literally, that was it. That was all the AEW. I watched that show for 2 hours, which I am not as a big a fan of everything that doesn't have anything to do with AEW. I did that for y'all. Everybody's listening. I did it for you. I watched it so you don't have to.
No disrespect to Impact, but
no, complete disrespect to Impact.
Okay, fine. Okay.
I'm Tony Khan in it. That was cool. He did another one of those.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, where he just buries Impact. So it's amazing. I love it.
Yes. So Floyd is the Tony Khan burying Impact, and I'm Tony Schiavone just standing by as Tony Khan runs his mouth.
Yes. Jordan Grace is on the show, and honestly, it did make the 2 hours worth it.
Jordan Grace is really good.
Yeah, she is really good at wrestling. She is a great professional wrestler. I want to say that first, but that's not why I enjoy. She's super hot to me. She's like,
sometimes that's how it works, dude.
And I just like to stare at her, and just like nothing creepy.
I got so much shit. Sorry to cut you off. I got so much shit from so many people because I had the gall to say I didn't think Kelly was that bad, and honestly, probably a little bit of it was because I thought she was hot. Yeah. And like I know Kenny McIntosh of Inside the Ropes, love Kenny, hates Kelly, and Jack the Jobber gave me so much hell for that as well, Cultaholic fame. But it's like, God damn it, if I didn't stick to that. I was like, she wasn't that bad. She was just part of the worst era of women's wrestling, and she had just happened to be the top of the food chain for that era, and it looked bad for that.
She was a white meat babyface. She was perfect for the role that they had her play. I don't think she did anything terrible in those 5 to 6 minute matches.
She did have some bad matches, definitely. But the people she was wrestling were somehow worse than her. So of course it looked bad. But no, I totally get what you mean though.
She could hold her. She could hold her own against Beth Phoenix and all those people, but she wasn't going to carry a match. And a couple of times they unfortunately asked her to carry a match, and that wasn't her strength. It's just, I don't know. I forgive a lot in that time because how do you get better when you're not working? You know,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get better? You may work a match. You work a 5-minute match every few weeks. You know, how do you get better? It's like I don't. No, even AEW seeing that now with the pandemic, and their wrestlers can't wrestle anywhere. They're like, you can't get better if you're not working. Ric Flair, which of course he was a workaholic. I wanna start off with that. But he said the worst thing for a wrestler is days off. He's like, that's what he said. He's like, he'd take 3-4 months off, and it'd take him a while to get back into it. So I don't know. Wrestling is one of those things. Like I remember I lived through that WWE period. I went to the bathroom doing the matches and all that good stuff. But like I said, when you find out about a lot of the stuff that happened backstage, you give them a lot more leeway.
Sure, yeah. But anyways, with all that out of the way, we can get to AEW Dynamite for this week. The I guess the go home show for Beach Break. We have a lot to talk about, honestly, with this show, which, like Floyd said, he felt like Dynamite just got back on a hot streak all of a sudden, which I can 100% agree to that. They started off with just a fucking belter of a physical match between Mad King Eddie Kingston and the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer, who Lance, first of all, asked Jake the Snake to stay backstage for the match because he wanted to take on Eddie Kingston by himself. These guys beat the hell out of each other. It was crazy physical, and the match ended up really finishing when all of a sudden I can't remember exactly what happened, but I do know that Butcher and Blade showed up, and they had first of all, Butcher and Blade had Jake the Snake Roberts, and they beat him up backstage, and they were like distracting Lance Archer, and then all of a sudden Bunny hops out of nowhere and then hands like a padded foreign object to Eddie Kingston, who then just nails a spinning back fist. It was a knuckle duster, and that ended up being the victory for Eddie Kingston. And they then continued to beat up on Butcher. The Butcher and Blade continued to beat up on Lance Archer. And they just continued to just put damage to it. But it was a really strong opener. I love how physical they let people like Lance Archer and Eddie get, just because like these are the kind of matches that these guys do so well of. And it's not crazy high spots or anything. It's just two dudes, like big men slapping meat, and they just do it so well.
Yes. If you are a fan or familiar with New Japan and listen to this was a never open weight match. This was super physical. Lance kind of dominated the match, and Eddie played the perfect aggressive chicken shit heel. It's so funny because he plays a character I've never seen. He will fight anybody at any time, but he's a chicken shit heel somehow. It's like he's so close to being a face. Like, so close. He's like very close to being a face because he reacts to everything like you want your favorite wrestlers to react. But then they get in the match and he cheats. So it's kind of, it's interesting. It's a very, I like the fact that it's a layered character.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if somebody's behind Eddie Kingston, I completely understand because you get so many, like, people, I don't want to wrestle that person, like Britt Baker, which is traditional heel stuff. I'm not saying anything specifically about Britt, but she didn't want to wrestle Thunder Rosa. That is traditional heel. Eddie Kingston's like, oh, you want to fight? Yeah, let's fight.
But at the same time, though, with Eddie, though, he comes from the streets and he gets hardcore even if the match doesn't ask for it. So he will go for any backhanded chance that he can get to get one on you.
Oh, dude, I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that works really well for his character too, though.
Yeah, it's very layered character, and that's what I like about it. But yeah, this match was great. I hit him basically with the with a knuckle duster. I don't know what that is. I'd never heard that term before Wednesday. I mean, I know what brass knucks are, and that was always the thing that they used in wrestling. But a knuckle duster, and he hit him with the backhand and got the 3, and I just thought this was cool. Also, I thought it was much needed. Kingston has had a lot of singles match losses. He needed a win just to show that he could win. Even if he even if he loses the next match he's in, he needed this win. Otherwise, he was just going to become that elevated jobber kind of thing.
Yeah. But going into the next segment, we had a really strong promo from who else? Jon Moxley, talking about the drama with the Elite, the Young Bucks. He said it was literally like an episode of Young and Restless. And Lucha Bros, Pac, Death Triangle, Good Brothers, Young Bucks, and Eddie Kingston. And now, all of a sudden, Death Triangle, they're tag teaming with Jon Moxley at Beach Break. He said, I'm a simple guy, like my beer cold, my coffee hot, my water at room temperature, sex in the morning because it's a great way to start your day. Great line right there. And in the business where the only person you can trust is number one, he does not overcomplicate things. So he's going to team with Pac and Rey Fenix, and they're going to face off against the family of Eddie Kingston. And he said it's going to be wild on Dynamite when they team up at Beach Break, because he's like, I don't even know what's going to happen. Jon Moxley just gives great promos every time he goes out. It's just consistent with him, and he's always strong with it. And considering that he's being in a really crazy 6-man tag, he still gave this promo what Jon Moxley would give to any promo of a singles match of his importance. He's really just doing his best to just get the match over, sell it, and he's doing it like he just does it well every time.
Man, the whole sex in the morning line, he does that in every promo. He has this one line that people just gravitate to, and it makes you pay attention to the rest of the promo. I think that's a genius way of doing the promo. But even how he said it, I like sex in the morning because it's a great way to start your day. He put an emphasis on start, and because a lot of people think it's a great way to end. And it was like all the internet could talk about for a good 10, 15 minutes. I just think he's a genius. And then Renee puts out a tweet of the sun smiling and like with Nicolas Cage's face. And she's like, good morning. And it was hilarious. And I just love how, like how they go together, how this whole thing works. It's just...
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say they have the best relationship, but I literally have no idea about their relationship other than what's on TV. So they seem to have a really good relationship. And they have fun. Absolutely. They have a fun relationship, which is what I try to bring to my relationships and like with my wife. It's just, I always think it's like, I always say, I'm like, it's great to love your partner, but it's more important to like them.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, like, that's why everyone's like, I got married to my best friend. It's like,
yeah.
I just want to have it.
Yeah, it's like, because, there's times where it's like you're just around and you just need to be still. And it's just like, if you can't be still with your partner, you shouldn't be with them. That's a little advice from the old man Floyd.
Absolutely.
That's for you. That's for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Oh, trust me, I need it. But also... a little advice also from your friendly neighborhood Austin to get a little less friendly, since we're talking about wrestlers and their relationships. Alexa Bliss had to come out and go after another stalker. So can we stop with stalking the female wrestlers? We already had to deal with Sonya Deville. Can we not deal with this with Alexa? Can we just stop it?
You know what? I feel bad for these people because generally
I do too. It's awful.
I'm talking about for the people doing the stalking because there is a high correlation between mental illness and stalking. It's just everyone that does it seem to have some kind of mental illness, and and I feel bad for Alexa, but with these people, it's just like. It's a disease, it's hard, it's hard to deal with, and they fixated on one person, and I feel bad for them, but I also want the wrestlers like super protected, but I want them to get the help they need. That's the softer side of Floyd, other than throwing them under the jail. I want them to get the help they need. I'm hoping people take things like this seriously and go get help that person, because it doesn't always have to be legal things. If if you think someone can harm themselves or doing stuff against them, yet you can get them the assistance that they need. And I hope that happens before this escalates any further.
Yeah, seriously, just get some help. Treat it with the severity that needs to be treated with. Anyways,
Yes.
so just brought that up because I saw that online and it really made me upset.
I imagine. I mean, it makes me upset every time, because you should be able to do your dream and do your life and, get to go home during the day. I work on computers for a living, and, back when we went to work, I went to work and I got to go home. And then when I got to go home, you know what I mean? They weren't calling me at home. It's like, oh my God, keep working, It's like, no, I was off. And, Alexa and other famous women of the time and men all deserve their off time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, like I said, we have Beach Break coming up tomorrow. They announced that they're going to have Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers team up to face Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix, which is what that promo was about. We can then get into the promo with TNT champion Darby Allin with Sting, because they did confirm the first match that Sting will be wrestling with in AEW. He's teaming with the TNT champion Darby Allin to face Ricky Starks and the FTW champion Brian Cage of Team Taz. And that's set for Revolution. And that's going to be Sting's first match. Really, really great promo that they did with Sting and Darby Allin, just owning the fact that we're hooligans, and they just took each of their specific foreign objects. Darby with his skateboard, Sting with his baseball bat, starts smashing windows and just talking about how in this street fight, or in this match that we're having, it's you don't play clean or dirty. It doesn't matter if you play clean or dirty. Sorry. It's just specifically about survival. So it is crazy exciting just to have the fact that we now know what we're going to get with Sting in AEW in his first match with the company. So it's just nice to know that that's what we're going to get. And Floyd, any thoughts that you want to share about either this promo or the match announcement in general?
Promo, I mean, I'm not going to say I thought it was the best. It's hard to have a great promo when the two people are best known for not talking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like Darby. Yeah. He's like Darby. He has a different character, and I'm hoping that and it seems like people are identifying and attaching with it. Sting, I'm really excited to see what they do with him at the street fight. The fact that they're calling themselves hoodlums was a little comical to me, especially when talking to Taz, the hoodlum. It's like It was like they're the hoodlum. But it was hilarious. I love that this is moving forward. I that's my favorite thing about it, is that it's moving forward. It does suck that the TNT title will not be defended at Revolution, but a good old street fight, AEW does these matches well. So, I mean, literally a lot of people, other than the Young Bucks versus Hangman, a lot of people think the best tag team match last year was the street fight between I almost called them LAX, Proud and Powerful and Best Friends. So let's see. Let's move forward. Let's see what's going on. So I'm excited.
Now, I'm excited as well. We then got the Demo God, Chris Jericho, teaming with MJF, as Jericho continues to be a tag team slut with his own team members, teaming to face the Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. They had a remixed version of their themes together, combining MJF's theme with Judas, which was interesting. I found it kind of funny that they do this with MJF and Jericho, but they didn't do it with anybody else that he teamed with. But either way, the match itself was really, it was great heel work from MJF. Jericho very specifically hit the Judas effect and then hit his springboard lion salt. just to stick it to the fans dogging on him for slightly botching it last week, and then he just smiles at the camera as it happens. But yeah, honestly, I 100% didn't have a ton to say about this match. I thought the team. I still think I thought the Varsity Blondes and Griff Garrison are with Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. are actually a lot of fun to watch. But I mean, Jericho and MJF are great. It had nothing like huge to go run home with, but yeah, it was still pretty strong. I felt
they are a great heel tag team. I try not to use that word loosely because great is a different level, but I do think they are a great heel tag team. It's just they they have the energy, character work. I mean, of course, it's MJF, so it goes without saying. Chris Jericho cannot work as hard, because you don't work as hard in tag team matches. That is said by wrestlers, not by the fat person talking on the podcast right here, talking about how hard people work. But, it extends Jericho's time in the ring, and it sets up for the eventual turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun just to see the downfall of the Inner Circle, all thanks to MJF and going off against what Sammy Guevara has issues with MJF. We then had Pac cut a quick promo talking about next week when he and was it Penta or was it Phoenix?
Phoenix.
That's right, Phoenix, because Penta's out.
Yes.
So yeah, he said, "You hurt us, we hurt you back. You're facing the consequences." Pac's promos are always fun to watch, but I mean, it wasn't too much to say about it. But then we got Cody's response to Shaq. They showed how Shaq called him a little punk, said he looked like a little girl with his bleach blonde hair, and Cody just gave a response to Shaq and Jade, and talked about the classic Sell It promo, and March 7th Revolution is what they were going to do. He said it would have been Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Brandy and Cody, but Brandy's pregnant. And he deferred to Arn Anderson. He spoke to Tony Khan about it. Arn Anderson talked about it and said, one way of making you thinking a little differently, June 29th, 1985, that date was when Dusty Rhodes got in with Tully Blanchard, fought for 30 minutes, jumped on a private plane, flied cross country, and got there in time to see the birth of Cody Rhodes. And then talked about if he decides to go down to face Shaq at Revolution, you should do it with your eyes wide open and no regrets. It was interesting to see them go back and forth about it. And then he then brought out a possible partner in crime for him, and it was Red Velvet, who got to cut her own promo in the whole section, which was good. I felt like it was good. It was decent. I didn't have a ton to write home about it, but I think she did really well, considering that, she's basically replacing Brandy in this whole storyline.
Yeah, she's going to stir your bitch ass up. So they went and found microwave Brandy and just put her in there.
I was gonna say, it's replacement Brandy. That's what it is.
I mean, she kind of looks like Brandy, and I have no problem with it. I'm just saying, if you don't even gotta look closely to be like, you're kind of replacement Brandy, So
which isn't a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just okay. Jade Cargill apparently he's been wrestling maybe 6 months to a year. And I would have liked somebody more experienced to try to carry her. I'm not saying Brandy was the greatest wrestler ever, but I'm just saying you just need somebody there to carry it. So I've always said about this match, it could be a car wreck or it can be okay. I think those are the only two options. I don't think it's going to be a classic by any means.
No.
Which I think that's not even an option. It can be a car wreck where you'll be watching it over and over and again to laugh at it, or it'll just be like a match. You'll be like, yep, that was a match that happened in wrestling history. And then that's it. I'm hoping it's the latter. I hope it's just a match. It's like just a celebrity match, But hey, Shaq is a former NBA player. That dude's like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt or something like that. He's a cop. He's got all this stuff. This dude can bring it. When he does stuff, he's usually really good at it. So I don't even know why I'm having such a doubt on him being good as a wrestler, but I'm going to say it. I still have my doubts.
Sure. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And I don't know what exactly we're going to get. Like I said, it's either going to be good or awful, but we'll see which side it goes down. We then got, speaking of microwave wrestlers, we got Hangman Adam Page versus microwave Dolph Ziggler and Ryan Nemeth.
Yes.
To the point where Dolph Ziggler even tweeted about it. It was literally microwave Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, it's his brother, so there you go.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. It's his brother. It's microwave Dolph Ziggler, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Hangman got a good win on that just real quickly, and then Big Money Matt comes out, and he comes up and saying, like, just watching Hangman and very much, like, scouting him, it seems like. He applauds Hangman when he walks to the ring after Hangman gets the win. He said, didn't want to create a scene. I want to be in your corner and let you know I support you. I've been watching you, and I'm concerned because you seem lost. You seem conflicted. And I was with you at the Stadium Stampede, and I knew how much you had for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and you got burnt by them, and you didn't deserve it. And Dark Order continuing to ask you to join. It's awkward. He said, I want you to know you're a good person. You deserve to be happy. And I wanted to make sure you heard that. So automatically now, Hangman's had two people already try to get him to join a faction or join a partnership. Like, Hangman's just a hot commodity at this point, and understandably so. But goddamn, does he just want to be by himself, and it's just not working out for him.
No, he is. It is not working out for him. He is that person that's like, he's got the kind of the girl that everyone's hitting on that just wants to be left alone. I mean, she's only at the bar because, alcohol's at the bar. So everybody keeps hitting on her, and then just like, oh, no, I'm not here for that, and that's Hangman right now. He doesn't want to be in a relationship. He's just having a good time, drinking and clotheslining people. The occasional team up, when he's kind of forced to. I dig it. I dig Hangman. I understand his character. I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah. Now to what I say was probably match of the night. Dax Harwood of FTR, who are the number 1 ranked tag team in AEW, facing off against Jungle Boy, who is part of Jurassic Express, the number 2 ranked tag team in AEW, in singles competition. And to make sure nobody gets involved, Cash Wheeler and Tully Blanchard are being chained to a dinosaur. Luchasaurus and all those 2 guys are going to be handcuffed together at ringside. They cannot get involved, and Luchasaurus is specifically making sure that no one gets involved. And in a sense, sort of Tully and Cash are making sure that he doesn't get involved too, because there was a couple times where they're like, hey, you sit down when Jungle Boy was getting beat up. This was unbelievably good. Like, this was such great, classic, old school babyface, old school heel singles wrestling with a nice little added bonus of just nobody can interfere. They're handcuffed. They can't go anywhere. It's just 2 guys in the middle of the ring working to see who's the better man. And my God, I'm telling you, like Floyd said earlier in the show, if anyone was going to put stock into a younger wrestler and then like ride it to the moon, it would be Jungle Boy. 100% agree with that idea just by itself, because Jungle Boy had a hell of a performance. Dax did great too. People said I know Jim Ross mentioned he saw Arn Anderson a little bit in him. Like, with the knee brace, I kind of was getting a little bit of heel Stone Cold vibes with it. And my God, dude, like, these guys just put on a classic old school, like, just goody twos baby face facing off against just an asshole heel, and it just worked really, really well. The finish where they just had Jungle Boy put him in the in his finisher in his submission hold, and you just see Cash and Tully just reaching for Jungle Boy, but that dinosaur Luchasaurus just continues to hold on with all the strength they have. Was so great as Jungle Boy got the huge singles victory, but then right when they got uncuffed from the dinosaur, when they got uncuffed from Luchasaurus, powder in the face from Tully to Luchasaurus, and then they just jumped Jungle Boy until Marco Stunt ran down with a golden chair and nearly threw it on Cash's ankle. It looked like it was either nearly threw it on his ankle. It looked like, and Top Flight and SCU also came to help out Jungle Boy, and they scared him off. But this was my match of the night by far. These guys did so well.
This was the match of the night, but let me give you a few reasons this match didn't count.
Okay.
First of all, FTR is the number one contenders in what division, sir? Tag team division. That means he's part of a tag team. This was his first singles match in 3 years. So Jungle Boy Dax got a little ahead of himself, a little cocky, and Jungle Boy challenged him. I get that Jungle Boy got the win, but it doesn't count. It was a singles match. This dude doesn't singles wrestle.
Doesn't affect the tag team record.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the tag team wrestle. This was, in essence, an exhibition that the world got to see of how great Dax is. So maybe people will actually remember his name instead of calling him FTR Bald, which I hear quite often, versus FTR Hair. So maybe people after this match, they'll be like, man, that Dax guy can wrestle. And if that's all I get out of this, I feel like I've won, because God is one of my pet peeves, the disrespect of calling them hair and bald.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
Yeah, it's like they've been around long enough. They've been on the front of a pay-per-view. You know, they've been on the posters.
Number one tag team in PWI.
Yeah, can you remember their names? Come on, brother. You don't call John Moxley. Well, that's the Shield guy. It's the balding Shield. You don't call him that, do you?
Matt Hardy, non-tattooed Hardy.
Black-haired Hardy. That's dark-haired Hardy.
Yeah, black-haired Hardy. No face paint Hardy.
Yeah, it's like, no, they were all, no, he deserves his name. But this match was like, I texted my brother and said, hey, they just had like a 1988 WCW heel versus face match, and it was great. And I mean, of course, I know they do updated moves, but it was just such a traditional heel. He one worked heel, one worked face. No one could interfere. And of course, if that's the case, you know, you get that win, you know, Dax, like, he proved what he had to do. So when Jungle Boy put him in his move, even though he wasn't in pain or whatever, he just went ahead and tapped out because he was tired and he had proved his point. I mean, it's just what FTR does. They just put on a great exhibition for you. And you're like, who won the match? And I'm like, winners, pinfalls. That doesn't matter. Who won? The fans won. The fans won this match because they got to see Dax do what he does better than a lot of other people in the world.
Yeah. I want to say, too, because after this, we had Team Taz just do a quick attack of the staff by the merch stand or whatever. And then Taz said one quick thing about Sting and Darby Allin for the street fight. But I want to just say, because I'm on AEW's official website for their recap of the show. It just says, Team Taz went outside the arena and attacked the staff at the AEW merch stand. In parentheses, head to shopaew.com for all your merch needs. That's funny. It's just like, oh, they attacked the merch stand. And also, buy AEW merch. I just thought that was really funny.
They are a T-shirt company. What do you expect?
I mean, yeah, obviously, what should I expect? But moving on to the next match was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Shanna. Both of these, Shanna was on a five-match winning streak going into this. And First of all, it's like I want to like Shanna, but it's one of those things where it's like I feel like I need to see more in order to have like a full idea of like whether or not I like Shanna, and like how she works. The match didn't seem to go too long because eventually the match ended up getting a finish when Shanna was going to go for the Tiger Driver. It got countered into the lockjaw. Shanna tapped out, and then she did it again until Thunder Rosa came out and helped her, building to the fact that Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker facing each other at Beach Break. Like I said, this match was really there to get a little bit of build towards Britt and Thunder Rosa. But with Shanna, I feel like I just need to see more of her. Now, I try to keep up with Dark as much as I can, but I feel like I still haven't seen enough of her to, like I said, I don't make every Dark. I sometimes miss a couple, but it's like I need to see more of her stuff in order to get a full idea of her. At least that's just me.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I mean, they've tried to get her finisher over, but it's kind of basic and not really exciting, the whole Tiger Driver thing. I think like she's missing something. She has the whole cosplay chick, Dragon Ball Z cosplay girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
She has that going for her enough to keep the fans interested. And it's enough to give most fans a look, but I don't think she has anything in her arsenal that makes you say, man, you need to watch out for Shanna. I mean, I know people's like, it's all about the attitude. But sometimes, if you don't have maybe the right charisma, if you got a good move, people be like, but dude, I really love her move. And she didn't really have anything.
Dude, you want a perfect example of that? Fucking Ember Moon.
Yeah.
Like Ember Moon, like I like Ember Moon a lot, but like when she was on the main roster and even a little bit on NXT, like there wasn't a ton to her character. She just had that really cool finisher where she dove off the top rope into a stunner. Yeah. And like that was her whole thing that got people to look at her, was the fact that she had a fucking good ass finisher.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, actually, I am one of those people. I don't like Ember Moon. And it's not that I don't like her. I feel nothing towards her, and to me in wrestling, that's worse. It's like and I'm like, she has a really cool finisher, and that's what I could say. Because even when she came out, and I was like, I don't like her music. What is she? What is her motivation? Why does she? Yeah, like, I'm one of those weird people that ask those kind of stupid questions. And I was asking those questions, and I never really got an answer. But, dude, the end of the match, when she was about to hit that finisher, Floyd shut up and stared. Because, man, that move was awesome. So, yeah, I don't know what Shanna's missing. I just threw out the first thing I could think of is because I'm, like, watching her offense. And it was kind of vanilla. It was like vanilla yogurt with no sugar added. It's just bland.
Yeah, which I mean, that can happen. But I mean, like I said, I'm hoping she can find like whatever she needs to just to everything to click. Because, like I said, the look is there. I think it's just like the charisma, some good moves that like get people looking. Could be all that she probably needs, and then it'll just be like huge. But quick little backstage segment of Sammy Guevara and MJF butting heads again, and then finally the main event, 6-man tag match. Well, no, 8-man tag match. My apologies. Between the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson, the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows, versus Evil, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. And first off, Don Callis walking out with his busted up eye, and then Kenny Omega being like, "What the fuck, guys?" Was so funny to me. I'm still interested just to see exactly what is decided for the Dark Order post Brody, just because I know like the fans still seem to be behind the Dark Order and whatnot, and they love John Silver. That's give it no doubt on that. But it's weird. They're in a point where it's like we don't know necessarily what they are in terms of heels and baby faces. I'm wondering if we're going to get to the point where they finally just like either go all one way or go all the other way. or if they just returned it back to what they were doing while Brody was gone. But either way, they still work really freaking good together. Gallows and Anderson still crazy talented, and I mean, you got Bullet Club pretty much right there with the little reunion between them. But Floyd, because there was a ton in this finish, and I don't want to miss any of it. Floyd, do you want to go ahead and tell us what happened in the end of this match and what happened afterwards?
Okay, so they did have the dead fatality combo or whatever that the Dark Order did. I just thought this was cool. Alex Reynolds hit a stunner right into a German from or John Silver. They then out the German and they flipped it up to where they're on Evil Uno's back, and then Stu Grayson hits the fatality. I thought that was like a combo that no one should ever kick out of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like the way that they moved all together with that, like I feel like it was just so crazy that for somebody to kick out of it, it would be like, what the fuck?
So they did have the save instead of the kick out. I rewinded it and played it like a few times because, of course, it was close to the end of the show. And I just was like, dude, yeah, that was pretty cool. Then we got I think the finisher was, they finally got everybody from the Dark Order out, and it was just one person in. Don't remember who it is. I think Alex Reynolds. And then they like all booted him in the head at the same time. It was like, yeah, super kick.
Yeah, it was Grayson actually.
Yeah, it was Grayson, and they all just kicked him in the head. So, yeah, 4 people kick you in the head at the same time. I think you'll be out for 3 seconds at least, right? I don't know.
I would think so.
Yeah, no, but
I mean, if it's a super kick party.
Yeah, but the big thing is afterwards, the Young Bucks said, you know, this battle royal is for the number 1 contender, but if we get in, we're gonna get in. They're gonna put us in. And if we win, we get to name our contender. And it could be anybody. And they stared right at the Good Brothers' face. So, you know, if the Young Bucks win, we may be getting the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers live on pay-per-view.
And then Phoenix shows up and then just decides that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and kill the Young Bucks.
Yeah, so he then does a flip. I mean, he jumps through the ropes. He goes too hard and then lands on the guardrail. And then he just sits there and starts waving. It was so smooth how he pulled it off. I don't know
how he does that.
If you didn't know wrestling, you would swear he did it on purpose. But, you know, we all know wrestling. And he wasn't, you know, that wasn't pleasant. But he did it so smoothly. It was like, oh, he just landed on that guy, flipped over, and just landed on his ass and waved at everybody. Yep, that's what he just did. Like, I have a hard time explaining it, and I think that's the greatest thing about Rey Fenix, the reason I love talking about him. That dude does stuff that I have a hard time describing to other people. I just was like, dude, go on your TNT app, press play, because I can't tell you what he just did. He just did something dope.
Yeah. Yeah, Rey Fenix then was going to get hit with the Magic Killer by the Good Brothers. He got out of it. Moxley comes in and clotheslines Gallows to the outside. Phoenix then jumps on the Good Brothers, like you said. Then Kenny Omega comes down. He starts beating up Moxley. Moxley hits a paradigm shift, and that's how they close out Dynamite with just absolute, like it's typical end of wrestling show, just straight up chaos.
And but from beginning to end, you were either getting excitement in wrestling or you were getting good promos, like the whole 2 hours. And I just thought that was, I just thought that was great. It was just like promo wrestling. It was like, boom, this event, this is happening at this event, this is happening at this event. When are they happening? Oh, next week and next month. Come on. It was crazy. It was just so much information. I just think, this was the Dynamite that I'm used to. This is a Dynamite that I'm used to. I know it was a go-home show to beach bash, but it felt like just a really good show.
Yeah, I know. It's like we didn't have, like, we were able to stay, like we normally try to, like, unbelievably positive with Dynamite. And like I said, we don't have, like, a ton of stuff to dig at just because, like, there's not really much that we can really pick at without, like, really being nitpicky.
Yeah, I'm the last person that, like when I did that somewhat negative show. People are like, "You okay?" And I'm just like, "Cause I'm a very positive person. It's just, I need something. I need a spark." And then, of course, I gotta say I was extra down because my boy wasn't getting quality TV time.
Yeah.
At which he's in a feud. Is it the feud I would pick? No. But it's a feud. In one. And he's on Revolution, man. You know, they only do 5 or 6 matches. Yeah, let's do it.
But now, with that being AEW Dynamite, which honestly, like we said, bit of a return to form for Dynamite, really strong show. We can get into the preview for Beach Break, which will be next week. Of course, have after a very long wait, the wedding between Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian, the 6-man tag match between Jon Moxley, Pac, and Phoenix versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, the Real Elite. We had the Tag Team Battle Royal, which will determine the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles at Revolution. Should be crazy fun. Like, there's too many options, I feel like, but I think with the idea of the Young Bucks having opponents, I think I feel like there's really very few options that could be bad for this whole thing. And then we get Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston facing off in a lumberjack match. And I mean, we saw them beat each other up this week, and they're still continuing this super physical feud. And I can only imagine what Eddie Kingston does with a shit ton of Eddie Kingston or Lance Archer does with a shit ton of people on the outside. So should be a lot of fun with that match. But anything real specifically you want to talk about with Beach Break?
Archer is going to throw a person at Kingston.
If Marco's out there, Marco's going flying.
Someone's getting thrown at Kingston because it's not a Lance Archer match unless he beats up innocent bystanders. Everybody dies. That's how it goes. Mox, Pac, and Phoenix. Literally, like you press random on some wrestler select.
But what you do is you literally take 3 of the best wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, against the Good Brothers and Omega. I mean, honestly, I have no problem with Gallows, but 5 of these 6 people I would watch wrestle like anywhere, including
Seriously.
Machine Gun. That dude is so smooth and so good at what he does. This is going to be a hell of a match. I don't do 6-mans of the year, but if I did one, I think this could end up being an early qualifier for 6-man of the year. Maybe Dynamite match of the year. I don't know, but I just think it's going to kick ass because you just got 6 people that know how to work and know how to entertain. It's just going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm with you too. Not a massive multi-man fan, but like when you have this level of talent in your multi-man match, you can't go wrong. It's like how I say, like if the Young Bucks are in your multi-man match, you're guaranteed a couple like crazy good spots. And it's going to be great.
And I want to let everyone know this is how you do a wedding episode. Okay. Wrestling weddings, not really my thing personally. Like when they first started Attitude Era, they were really cool. Then it just felt like, okay, if they having a wedding, it's going to get messed up. Blah. That was boring, right? Because you knew what was going to happen. And it's like, but look at the dopeness that is surrounding this wedding. And I forgot a match, and I apologize. It was going to be the first match I put on. Then I was like, oh, I should lead with Kip and Penelope. Then I forgot to put the match on here. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the match between them we talked about earlier in the show. Yeah, we did mention that. Yeah, but definitely apologize on that.
Part of the preview. It's like, look at that. That's like 4 awesome matches that you're looking forward to. So even if you don't like the wedding, you're just going to be sitting through however many minutes, 15 minutes that takes. Generally, it gets 15 minutes. It's that kind of stuff. Even if you don't want to watch that, look at all the great wrestling you have around it. That's going to be amazing. Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. That way, for the person that the wedding part is like, oh, they're doing a wedding, I'm not going to watch the show. Then he's like, well, what else is going on? Well, I can't miss the whole damn it. So, yeah, you put a lot around your gimmicks. So, in case your gimmick sucks, you still get dope wrestling.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll do it, I think, for this episode of All Things Elite. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, if you enjoy the show, be sure to share it with your friends. If you listen on Spotify or if you listen on Google or Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave download and leave a rating and review. Let us know how we're doing. Again, if you want to donate to us, red circle is how you're going to do it. On social media, we are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter. At Social Suplex. Those are the guys that make this show possible. Give them all the support. Check out all of the other shows on Social Suplex's podcasting network. You're not going to be disappointed. I am at SZoomer4 on Twitter. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And as I, a Detroit boy and a Lions fan, ponder this rebuild as we just traded Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff and a flurry of first round and a third round pick. And I know that the team is in full rebuild mode. I will have Floyd, who his team is going to be in the Super Bowl for back-to-back years and could win back-to-back years, take us home for this show.
Okay.
Thanks so much for listening. Floyd, go ahead.
Austin keeps using these weird words like should and if and could. When the Chiefs win, it happens because Mahomes is inevitable. You know, you can try to tear his kneecap, he comes back and wins. You can try to just ram his head into the ground, he comes back and wins. It's what he does. So thank you. I wasn't gonna cut a promo on the Kansas City Chiefs there. It's just, you mentioned the Chiefs. I'm a little angsty right now. I'm a little ready to pounce because it's a week away by the time you listen to this. But that's what my point was. By the time this show drops on Sunday, January 31st, that means 30 days of 2021 are gone. What that means is the year can't possibly suck yet, because you have like 335 days to fix whatever's wrong, if it can be fixed. I'm talking about if you didn't start your year making the decisions you want to as far as your weight, smoking, blah, 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 you got 330 more days to fix it, turn it around. Our boy Austin's working out and he's getting back on his good foot. And me and my wife start keto in February. These are things. Like I said, you got 330 days to make the year better, to make better decisions, to do what you have to do. So that's what I leave you with. And I will say, when it comes to your New Year's resolutions or promises or plans to get life better, always do your best to be elite.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.